The story begins with a girl in a beautiful dress arriving in a wonderful city. She's headed to the Royal Academy. She notices an exhausted old woman and helps her, using her abilities to make the woman feel better. The woman thanks the girl's son, but the brown-haired girl explains that she's still at level 1 and doesn't need thanks for providing free treatment. The son learns that the girl is going to the Royal Academy and rushes to the student's dormitory. When he tells her that the academy's gates close at 6 p.m., she hurries but arrives too late. The gates close exactly at 6, and she couldn't get into the student's residence. A man with glasses asks for her name in class, and she introduces herself as Alicia, a first-year student. He tells her about the strict rules and suggests that she spend the night anywhere she can and enter the next day. Alicia explains her financial constraints, and the boy realizes she's the commoner accepted that year. He informs her about a solution. There's a part of the Eastern Wall where students violate the curfew. Many enter and exit through there, but there's a slim chance that Roki, the enforcer, will be there at this hour. Alicia is overjoyed and asks for the boy's name, and the student introduces himself as Oswald Grimsard. Her father is a minister in the cabinet. Alicia is very surprised because her father is a minister, but Oswald tells her that he doesn't like pretense. Therefore, she should address him by his name without any titles. She expresses her gratitude to Oswald for guiding her to the entrance and takes her bag, leaving the place. Finally, she arrives at the eastern side of the academy and sees the boy jumping from the wall. He informs her that he will help her enter and extends his hand to help her climb. While they are on their way, the red-haired boy introduces himself as William Aris, a new first-year student. His seniors in the dormitory sent him to buy drinks for the celebration welcoming the new students who enter the dormitory. William shares that his father is a general who trained him since childhood. Alicia is surprised that everyone here comes from extremely noble families. As William turns to her, she stumbles, and despite Alicia's attempt to help, they both fall from above onto the students. She apologizes to the boy, named Edwin, whom she accidentally fell on. Edwin, with yellow hair and green eyes, introduces himself as Edwin Varschein, the second prince of the Kingdom of Varschein. Alicia is shocked because this academy enrolls only noble children. The scene shifts to the academy's director, who scolds them for causing a commotion. William is told that the drinks he brought will be confiscated, making him upset. He bows his head in disappointment. Then, the director speaks to Alicia, acknowledging her exceptional talent and her power of light. She is the only commoner to receive a scholarship here, and she must always remember it and be cautious of her actions. The director, from his council, informs them that they will be assigned additional duties for a whole week as punishment. Then he departs from the place, and the academy director speaks to himself, expressing his hope that Alicia is strong enough to save them from the great demon king. The scene shifts back to Alicia lying on her bed, feeling very sad for failing on her first day at the academy. In those moments, she hears a voice from outside shouting about an intruder. The scene transitions to the guards outside searching for the intruder in the school grounds. The guards instruct them to stay inside and close the windows completely. The scene shifts once again to Alicia, but at that moment, she hears a noise entering her room. She grabs a mop and watches the person as she strikes him on the head multiple times. However, he tells her to calm down as he is not a bad person, revealing his face. Alicia recognizes him as Edwin, the person she fell on earlier. He explains that he was trying to investigate something and got caught when trying to sneak into the school building. Now, he cannot reveal the details, but he promises to tell her later. Suddenly, they hear a noise from outside, indicating that the security is still looking for the thief but hasn't found any trace of him. Edwin looks through the window to observe them and tells Alicia that he cannot go out now or he will be caught. He asks her to let him hide in her room for a little while. Alicia is shocked by his request but agrees to let him stay in her room. In the darkness, Edwin and Alicia sit in silence. Edwin breaks the silence, apologizing to Alicia for what happened. He acknowledges that a noble like him should not invade a lady's room but had no choice. Alicia responds that it's okay, feeling like she's in a dream, never having spoken to a royal before. He said to her that he is just like her, always surrounded by royals and nobles, and this is the first time he's dealing with someone from the common folk. Then he asks her about common women, whether they are as violent as her. Alicia gets annoyed and tells him that she hit him because she thought he was a thief, which is a natural reaction when encountering an unknown person entering her room through the window. Edwin laughs and informs her that he was just joking and he doesn't want her to hit him again. Alicia and Edwin have a laugh together, and then Edwin asks her to keep their encounter a secret. She promises not to tell anyone and Edwin thanks her. He gets ready to leave, not wanting to overstay his welcome. Before he goes, he invites Alicia to the entrance ceremony the next day and wishes her a good night. Alicia reminds him to be careful and avoid any trouble. The next morning, all the new students gather for the entrance ceremony. Alicia is among them, waiting in line to meet the director. She notices both William and Edwin signaling to her. She keeps her eyes on Edwin until she accidentally bumps into a girl in front of her. The girl gets angry and asks if Alicia has a problem. Then she recognizes Alicia and asks if she's engaged. Alicia is surprised that the girl knows her name. The girl questions if Alicia is sick, and Alicia assures her that she's perfectly fine. The girl goes back to her place as the ceremony is about to begin. The director welcomes the new students with great honor. Suddenly, the scene shifts to Edwin and Alicia in a fight against Eumiella. They try to stop the fight, warning her that her luck is running out, but she doesn't listen. Eumiella gets ready to attack with her spears, and the battle intensifies. She emits a terrifying aura as she strikes with her spears. William defends against her attacks with his sword, while Edwin uses his powerful magic to counter a significant portion of her strikes. Together, they manage to hold their ground against her. Alicia also joins the battle, using her special holy light magic. Eventually, they defeat Eumiella. Prince Edwin is grateful to Alicia and gives her a hug. Suddenly, Eumiella, the defeated girl, wakes up and reveals that all of this was part of a game called A Light and Hero. It's set in a world of swords and magic, where the heroine enrolls at the Royal Academy, builds relationships, and grows stronger throughout her journey. She eventually defeats the Demon King. But a hidden boss, the powerful adversary Eumiella Dolkness, emerges after what seemed to be the end of the game. Eumiella tells her own story. At the age of 15, she's heading to the Royal Academy in the capital. She can't remember her past life, but she knows she was reborn in a world of light and heroism after getting hit by truck cunt. Eumiella thinks about how people discriminate against her because of her black hair, which is seen as a bad omen. Even though she defeated the Demon King and the Saint, she becomes the hidden leader, a symbol of oppression. Eumiella thinks about her existence and how people treat her because of her black hair. She wants to reach level 70 and defeat the hidden leader. But in the end, after her defeat, she questions why she even exists. Eumiella has special powers, like using dark magic, which is usually reserved for bad characters. This makes her a strong opponent. At the end, she wonders if her existence has any meaning in the story of Light and Hero. She's not interested in the romantic parts of the game, and she doesn't feel a strong connection to the three characters you can romance. Instead of following the story of Light and Hero, she decides to hide and have a quiet school life. She won't interact with Alicia or the main characters to avoid becoming the hidden leader. She plans to let Alicia and the boys defeat the resurrected Demon King in her third year of high school, so they can all live in peace. But she knows she needs to get stronger just in case. She wants to be strong enough to defeat the Demon King on her own if it comes to that. In one scene, we see a young Eumiella encountering a slime monster. She uses her magic to kill it, and it turns into a magic stone, which is a common thing when you defeat monsters. Eumiella decides to train and test her physical ability, believing she's faster now. She sneaks out every day to train and make money by collecting magic stones from monsters. With the money she earns, she buys different tools, starting with the growth necklace, an amulet that quickly boosts her level. She thinks she can handle the dungeon on her own and confidently says she can fix her magic arm when needed. She encounters monsters in the dungeon and defeats them all, collecting magic stones from them. After a while, she gets the Summoner's Flute, a device to summon monsters. She keeps fighting monsters every day and keeps leveling up. She faces the same demis many times from start to finish, hoping to continue leveling up once she starts school. She arrives at the school in a carriage and is amazed that it looks just like in the game. She reads a message from her father, who urges her to attend the Royal Academy. He wants her to mingle with noble children and find a husband among them to secure her inheritance. Eumiella overhears a schoolboy announcing that the main gate closes at 6 p.m. as per the rule. She mentions that everything is happening just like in the game of Light and the Hero. Alicia appears and talks to a boy, telling her to avoid getting involved with 4 specific individuals if she wants a peaceful life. The boy says the entrance ceremony is about to start. In a different scene, Alicia touches a magic sphere, and the teacher tells her she's at level 1 and needs to work hard. William checks his level and is evaluated as level 10. Eumiella hopes she's at level 5, but she realizes that if she were, she wouldn't have been able to defeat the dungeon boss. Then it's Eumiella's turn, and the director reassures her not to worry since everyone starts at level 1. She places her hand on the sphere, and is actually level 99. Everyone is astonished, and Eumiella says goodbye to her peaceful life. This is unbelievable because the highest known level in the kingdom is only 60. Everyone around is stunned and starts to suspect Eumiella might be cheating, as she herself is surprised to learn she has reached level 99. The headmaster thinks there's an error and asks for another magic crystal. Yet again, it shows level 99, leaving everyone in disbelief. Sunaid, one of the teachers, asks Eumiella if she knew about her level being 99. and Eumiella knows she's in deep trouble. She decides it's time to reveal her true power. Then, the sword teacher questions if the crystal is malfunctioning or if Eumiella cheated to manipulate her level. Eumiella firmly states she didn't cheat and her level is genuinely 99. The sword teacher becomes furious, questioning how Eumiella could reach level 99, as it implies she must have been killing monsters since she was a child. Eumiella, who has indeed been fighting monsters from a young age, now faces rumors about how she could have done such a thing at her age, with more whispers about possible cheating. To ease the rising tension, the headmaster claps and asks everyone to calm down. He suggests they will find out the truth in the actual classes. He gives Eumiella a skeptical look before asking her to introduce herself. As Eumiella introduces herself, she can't help but think that even the headmaster doubts her. Eumiella starts to consider fleeing to another country to escape the situation and lead an ordinary life. The level measuring continues, and Eumiella feels sorry for overshadowing Alicia, a commoner who was supposed to be the center of attention in the original story. When the freshman party starts, Eumiella, who is not used to social gatherings due to her introverted nature, finds it overwhelming and decides to head to her room. However, as she is leaving, William confronts her angrily, demanding to know how she cheated and manipulated her level. Eumiella faces William, who she sees as a frustrating and stubborn guy. William confronts her about cheating, questioning how she, as a noble, could stoop so low. Just then, Edwin, a prince, arrives with an annoyed look, telling William that this isn't the right place to cause a scene. Eumiella respectfully bows and greets Edwin since he's a prince. However, Edwin, looking at her with disdain, calls her a central wannabe, which surprises Eumiella. He goes on to say that William has worked harder than anyone since childhood to reach level 10. He accuses Eumiella of cheating and invalidating William's hard work. Confused by everyone's accusation of cheating, Eumiella insists she's truly level 99 and that everyone will see whether she's lying when classes start. Then Oswald, another character, accuses her of continuing her lie. Eumiella, now just annoyed, explains her perspective on the three of them. She describes Edwin as the main protagonist and a good friend, William as a justice-driven, hot-tempered musclehead, and Oswald as a magic prodigy. Eumiella expresses her desire to avoid the main characters and live a normal life. She says that no matter what she says, they won't believe her. Oswald sarcastically comments that she should have claimed a more believable level like 10 or 15, but claiming 99 is absurd. Edwin, in a bullying tone, challenges Eumiella to show her level 99 power. Knowing that demonstrating her power would only cause more chaos, Eumiella quickly changes the subject by pointing out that Alicia, a commoner girl, seems lost at the party and needs help. While they are distracted, Eumiella takes the chance to escape. Once at home, Eumiella is worn out from all the drama. Her maid, Rita, asks why she left the party early. Eumiella replies that there was no one of interest to her at the event. Rita, who was sent by Eumiella's father to ensure she gets engaged to a noble, informs her that the second prince is in her class. Rita warns Eumiella that she won't find a suitable partner if she continues to keep to herself and act like a recluse. Eumiella feels irritated and decides to switch the topic by asking what central wannabe means. Rita, her maid, is a bit surprised by the question and tells her it's not something to worry about. Eumiella hints that the term might be specific to her and her family, which prompts Rita to explain. Eumiella then concludes that her family is essentially a group of nobles who don't do much. They've handed over their territory's management to local authorities and just spend their time partying and engaging in various indulgences. Eumiella finds her own family pretty disappointing, and Rita doesn't have much to say in response. The next day at school, Eumiella finds herself sitting alone. Her classmates start gossiping about her, calling her hair black and cursed, and accusing her of cheating to reach level 99. But Eumiella, with her heightened senses, hears everything and doesn't care about their opinions. She observes something unusual. The boys, including Alicia, enter the class together, which is different from the original story where they didn't get along at first. Eumiella wonders if her presence is causing changes in the story. Then, Alicia suddenly glares at her with hostility, making Eumiella decide to avoid the main characters as much as possible to have a normal life. In the afternoon swordsmanship class, Eumiella is excited to hold a real wooden sword, something she always wanted to do, just like in the games she played. The sword teacher then announces that there will be a mock battle involving the students who are supposedly level 99, and he asks who wants to spar. Eumiella finds herself the target of everyone's attention again, and William, the musclehead, confidently steps up to be her sparring partner in swordsmanship class. The crowd cheers for William, while Eumiella worries about how to control her strength so she doesn't hurt him. Eumiella, more experienced in using magic for fighting monsters, remembers how she once accidentally crushed a monster with her physical strength. As she's thinking, William taunts her, calling her a pretender and a fraud. Eumiella gets more irritated, realizing how much William's safety depends on her controlling her power. As the sparring match starts, everyone laughs at Eumiella's awkward battle stance, as it's her first time holding a sword. William, thinking she's mocking him, charges at her. But for Eumiella, his movements are too slow. She easily dodges, causing William to fall flat on his face. Eumiella feels a bit sorry for him, not expecting such a dramatic fall. She asks if she needs to hit him to win, and the teacher, surprised, declares her the winner. William, frustrated, accuses Eumiella of pretending to be inexperienced to catch him off guard. He attacks her again, but Eumiella lightly flicks his sword, sending him flying back an unbelievable distance, leaving everyone in shock. Eumiella rushes to check on him, worried she might have accidentally killed him. Thankfully, he's still alive. She picks him up by his collar, wondering if she should carry him to the nurse's office. The teacher quickly intervenes, taking William himself, and instructs the class not to spar with Eumiella anymore. Instead, she is told to practice sword swinging. Now, everyone is scared of her, so she decides to practice on her own. When Eumiella does a normal swing, it creates a huge gust of wind that knocks everyone back. The next class is magic practice. The teacher Tsunade greets the class with a smile, and explains they need to hit a magic-enhanced dummy. The students take turns trying out the exercise. Eumiella explains that there are 4 main elemental types of magic in their world: fire, water, wind, and earth. There are also rare elements like light, which Alicia uses, and dark elements. When Alicia uses her light magic, everyone is surprised because it's an ultra-rare element. Next, it's Oswald's turn, who impressively uses all 4 main elements. Lady Tsunade, the teacher, praises him, saying she expected no less from someone as talented as Oswald. She's impressed by his mastery of all elements. Then she turns to Eumiella, suggesting it's her turn to show her level 99 power. Eumiella thinks to herself that Oswald wasn't in the previous class, so he doesn't know about her defeating William. When she steps up to the target, Eumiella admits she can't use the 4 main elements well, but she's a powerful dark mage who has maxed out all her stats. Eumiella then asks Tsunade if it's okay if she destroys the target. Oswald, overconfident, mocks her, saying the target is strong enough to withstand a palace mage's attack and won't be damaged by someone he considers a fraud. Tsunade, trying to defuse the situation, assures them nothing bad will happen. Eumiella then uses a dark flame spell, producing a small flame. Oswald laughs at the seemingly weak magic, but Tsunade is shocked. As soon as the small flame touches the target, it begins to melt like acid, stunning everyone. Eumiella explains that while it might look like fire, it's actually a cold flame that dissolves things. She likens it to a combination of 2 acids, sulfuric and nitrohydraulic. The students are terrified to see her use dark flame. Eumiella says she can only use dark magic, trying to calm everyone down. Tsunade steps in and explains that being a dark mage isn't evil. Even in the king's palace, there are dark mages. She clarifies it's just a type of element like light. Oswald, whose pride is hurt because he thought he was the top magic prodigy, can't accept that someone is more powerful than him. He runs off crying, which surprises Tsunade and everyone else. Just then Edwin arrives with the principal, carrying expulsion papers for Eumiella. Eumiella realizes that Edwin was missing earlier because he was busy preparing these papers. The principal coldly states that anyone who lies about their level doesn't belong at their academy. Hearing this, Eumiella casually remarks that it might be better for her, as she can now go to another country and attend a different academy. However, Tsunade urgently pleads with the principal to reconsider, highlighting that Eumiella is a rare dark mage. Tsunade points out that Eumiella managed to destroy a target that even palace mages struggle, suggesting that she might indeed be a level 99. This, according to Tsunade, makes Eumiella's potential expulsion a significant loss for the kingdom. The principal, however, is not convinced, insisting that breaking something doesn't prove she is a level 99. He demands that Eumiella demonstrate that she truly possesses level 99 power. Seeing Tsunade so worried and pleading, Eumiella finds it hard to refuse. She decides to give them a real demonstration of her power. She asks Edwin if it's okay to cast her spell into the sky and tells him he'll need to take responsibility if anything goes wrong. Edwin, somewhat irritated, agrees to take full responsibility. Eumiella then prepares to use an incredibly powerful spell, one typically associated with a demon lord, but decides to only use 1% of her power. As she raises her hand, a black hole forms in the sky. Gradually, the hole expands, growing large enough to cover the entire capital city. The expanding black hole begins to suck in everything around it, causing chaos throughout the capital. Eumiella explains that this spell absorbs everything in its vicinity, and could make the sky above the academy disappear in an instant. Before it can cause any more destruction, Eumiella deactivates the spell. Everyone is left in a state of shock and bewilderment. Eumiella approaches Edwin with a menacing smile, asking if her spell was impressive enough to prove she is a level 99. Edwin is too stunned to respond, visibly terrified and shaking from the ordeal. Next, Eumiella was called to the capital to see the king. When she walked into the castle, people whispered about her, wondering if she really was as powerful as claimed because of her black hair and unique appearance. Yet, Eumiella didn't let the whispers bother her, and respectfully greeted the king. The king acknowledged the issues at the academy, promising to address them and apologizing for the trouble, which surprised everyone around. Eumiella humbly suggested it was all a big misunderstanding and felt like she was always causing problems. The king, however, insisted the fault lay with his son and the academy, not with her. To dispel any doubts about Eumiella's strength, the king called upon Adolf, the kingdom's mightiest knight, to test her abilities. Adolf, known as the only person strong enough to potentially defeat the demon lord, suddenly attacked Eumiella to test her reaction. Caught off guard, Eumiella smartly dodged his attack without fighting back, leaving everyone amazed by her quick thinking and agility. Adolf admitted her skills were genuine, praising her as truly powerful. The king then asked Eumiella to demonstrate her magic. She complied, and her display of magic, creating spikes from the ground, left everyone in awe and a bit fearful, leading to more whispers about her being cursed due to the dark aura of her magic. The king was curious about whether people who use dark magic were evil. The chief magician at the palace clarified that dark magic is simply a type of magic, much like the other four main types. It's quite rare, similar to light magic, and its effectiveness varies. It's weaker against light magic but stronger against the four basic elements. The magician pointed out that the moral alignment of dark magic depends on the person using it, not the magic itself. The king, still puzzled, mentioned rumors suggesting that only demons practice dark magic. The chief magician corrected him, explaining that demons naturally have dark magic but can wield all types of magic, except light magic. This helped the king understand that fear often stems from not knowing the full story, especially in Eumiella's case, whose black hair might have fueled misunderstandings. Eumiella felt thankful, realizing the king was trying to help clear up misconceptions about her. Curious about Eumiella's unprecedented level 99 status, the king inquired how she achieved such a milestone. Eumiella simply shared that she didn't do anything out of the ordinary. She made money by defeating monsters in her area, purchased a growth-enhancing amulet, and continued to fight monsters on her own, using a flute to draw them in, until she reached level 99. Everyone was astounded by her method. When the king asked Adolf, the kingdom's strongest knight, if he could replicate her feat, he admitted it was impossible for him. He always wore a protection amulet, and couldn't imagine taking on high-level monsters by himself, let alone at such a young age as Eumiella did. This made Eumiella realize she might have shared too much about her unique strategy. The king offered Eumiella a position as the kingdom's protector, and even hinted at making her part of the royal family by marrying Prince Edwin. Eumiella, however, only wished for a simple, peaceful life and turned down the king's proposal. She thought about leaving for another kingdom if pressured further. Just when Eumiella believed the discussions were over, she found herself talking with the queen in a casual, unofficial setting. The queen shared that both she and the king were fond of Eumiella. Despite Eumiella's desire to return home, the queen admired her lack of interest in power or authority, noting that Eumiella's potential for ambition was intimidating. Eumiella questioned why the queen trusted her so much. The queen answered that someone who steers clear of royal politics and power is often the most trustworthy. The conversation then took a serious turn as the queen revealed a looming threat, the demon lord's resurrection in 2 years. She sought Eumiella's assistance for when that time arrives. Eumiella agreed to help fight the demon lord, thinking to herself it wasn't much different from her original plan to defeat him. However, the queen clarified they were assembling an elite team for the task, hinting at Alice and Prince being part of it. Eumiella was told her role was to support, not to land the final blow. The queen mentioned that killing the demon lord should be the royalty's responsibility to avoid any disputes over the kingdom's leadership. The queen then suggested Eumiella marry Prince Edwin to resolve any potential issues, but Eumiella quickly dismissed the idea, accidentally voicing her thoughts out loud. The queen, amused, expressed her fondness for Eumiella's candidness. The queen revealed the kingdom's political divide between loyalists and a faction opposing the king, led by ineffective central figures. Eumiella assured her she wouldn't align with her father, whom she disliked. After the meeting, Eumiella returned home. Rita, learning of Eumiella's level 99 status, was astonished. She showed Eumiella a marriage proposal album sent by her father, but Eumiella ignored it, instead sharing royal sweets gifted by the queen and suggesting they enjoy them with black tea, cleverly shifting the conversation away from marriage. Separately, the king and queen discussed their astonishment at Eumiella being level 99 at only 15 years old, acknowledging her as proof of a level cap in their world. They empathized with Eumiella's past struggles, including bullying and family rejection due to her dark magic and appearance. Despite her hardships, Eumiella held no bitterness and sought only a peaceful life. The queen mused on the consequences if someone were to disturb Eumiella's peace. After that incident, Eumiella noticed a shift in how people treated her. They began to approach her more, saying they had misunderstood her as intimidating when she was actually quite kind. This change was largely thanks to the queen, who had been sharing positive stories about Eumiella. However, Alice still seemed frightened by Eumiella's presence. The boys who used to give her trouble seemed to have changed their tune as well, likely influenced by a reprimand from the king. Despite this newfound attention, Eumiella remained indifferent, her main issue being the constant marriage proposals from princes across the kingdom. Among these suitors was one particularly persistent prince from the faction opposing the king. He wouldn't take no for an answer, despite Eumiella's clear disinterest. Fed up, Eumiella told him she would only consider someone stronger than herself, a tactic she devised after enduring a week of his bothersome proposal. The prince argued that power isn't everything, claiming his intelligence was his true strength, and together they could rule the kingdom. When Eumiella questioned if his intelligence was reflected in his academic performance, he countered that being smart wasn't just about grades. He insisted that with his brains and her brawn, they wouldn't need to do much to lead the kingdom. Eumiella found herself increasingly frustrated by the persistent advances of a prince, especially after he suggested they could rule the kingdom together. She cleverly trapped him by asking if his plan involved overthrowing the king, leading him to fear for his life and hastily retreat upon realizing the gravity of his implied suggestion. Walking away from that uncomfortable encounter, Eumiella bumped into Eleonora, the Duke of Varschein's daughter, and a notable figure from the opposition. Eleonora had played a pivotal role in the game, turning Eumiella towards evil deeds through manipulation and bullying. Despite Eumiella's reluctance, she agreed to a conversation with Eleonora to avoid further complications. In her room, Eumiella endured Eleonora's company, wondering if she was capable of engaging in casual girl talk given her isolated upbringing in the game world. She navigated the conversation using 3 simple phrases: "I see, that's amazing," and "tell me more," despite her evident disinterest. Eventually, Eleonora revealed her true intention, warning Eumiella to stay away from Prince Edwin, whom she claimed to like. Eumiella, aware of the king and queen's offers of marriage to her and Eleonora's misunderstanding about her relationship with Edwin, subtly deflected by suggesting Eleonora was the most suitable match for the prince, flustering Eleonora and diffusing the tension. Later, during lunch, Eumiella was approached by some girls who wanted to join her, followed by Alice, who appeared worried and scared. Unexpectedly, Alice questioned Eumiella if she is the demon lord, leaving everyone around them shocked by the sudden shift in conversation. Eumiella is curious about how Alicia knew about the demon lord and questions why she doubted her. Alicia reveals that Ed told her the demon lord would be coming back in 2 years, and she thinks it's Eumiella because of her black hair. However, Eumiella brushes it off, telling her that they learn in the classroom that dark magic isn't necessarily evil. Just then, all of her friends arrive and ask what Eumiella did to their friend. But she tells them that Alicia was talking about her being the demon lord, so she denies it. She thinks that the demon lord's arrival must be kept secret so that people don't panic. But the silly prince says it loudly, revealing to everyone that the demon lord is indeed returning in 2 years. Eumiella then asks the 3 of them why they believe she is the demon lord, despite revealing that the demon lord is coming back in 2 years, and she is already here. To this, Oswald informs her that he believes in Alicia and the words she said. Plus, her strength also suggests that she is the demon lord. Hearing this, Eumiella tells him that she is indeed as strong as the demon lord. But the main reason behind their thinking is that the 3 of them are very weak. This hits their weak spot, causing them to get angry with her. But Eumiella believes that she needs them to get stronger so they can defeat the actual demon lord. Just then, Eumiella decides to leave the lunch area, but suddenly realizes that this might be her chance to teach them how to level their strength up, which might improve their opinion about her. She then tells them that the fundamental way to level up is to go to dungeons and defeat as many monsters as they can without using the amulets of protection, where amulets of growth will double the experience they will receive, and they should use a monster calling flute to defeat as many monsters as possible. And to maximize efficiency, they need to fight solo rather than forming a party. She recommends them go for monsters that specialize not in defense, but in offense, because this will give them the chance to spend less time while fighting with them. She ends by revealing that stronger monsters are the most efficient for raising their level, and they need to go as deep as they can into the dungeon. She even informs Alicia that since she can use light magic, she has a bigger responsibility. and she needs to go to a dark-type dungeon to increase her level. After revealing all the methods to level up their strength, she believes she gets them. But the silly prince thinks she is trying to get them killed, and Eumiella didn't know it would be impossible for them. So she tries to help them in leveling up herself. But the stupid prince says he doesn't need her method and then walks away. After they leave, Eumiella looks at all the students, believing that they must be thrilled after listening to her leveling up methods. But to her shock, they get afraid of her, causing Eumiella to believe that her plan got flopped. Eumiella wonders why Alicia is cautious around her, thinking it might be because she's also reincarnated like her. To investigate, she decides to observe Alicia during her next class. Eumiella spies on Alicia, watching her actions and behaviors for a whole day. After observing, Eumiella believes that Alicia is a nice girl, similar to the game where Alicia was an ordinary citizen at the academy and helped others with her magic. In the game, Alicia tried to join nobles, but they rejected her because she didn't understand their customs. However, she was assisted by the characters Edwin, William, and Oswald. Eumiella sees Alicia playing with a kitty and thinks it's her best chance to talk to her since her friends aren't around. She decides to approach Alicia through the kitty. Eumiella goes to the kitty and mimics its meow. Unfortunately, the kitty gets scared and runs away upon seeing her. A classmate witnesses this but hides it, claiming he didn't see anything. Eumiella explains that she could have caught the kitty using force, but she chose to let it go. The boy tries to talk to her, but Eumiella runs away to find Alicia. She discovers Alicia sitting with Prince Edwin, helping him with his studies. Suddenly, the silly prince informs Alice that the king himself said she is not the demon lord, despite having black hair, being level 99, and having the ability to use dark magic. However, Alicia shows him a dark drawing she made with her pencil, revealing that this is how Eumiella looked at her, and she might have something to do with her light magic. Hearing this, Eumiella wonders what she's talking about. But the silly prince informs Alicia that the king wants her to join the force that will battle the demon lord. This means they will all work together to face the demon lord one day. He then apologizes to Alicia for getting her involved in fighting with the demon lord. But Alicia assures him that if the world is in danger, she will use her magic to do whatever she can to help them out. Hearing those, Eumiella believes that Alicia wasn't reincarnated. After that, Eumiella heads to the principal's office to meet him. But instead of the principal, she finds another person sitting on his chair, who welcomes her and reveals that his name is Ronald, and he has been appointed as the new principal. He tells her to sit on the chair after revealing that he's been here on the orders of the king. He apologizes to Eumiella on behalf of Prince Edwin, who revealed the state's secret in public, but reveals that he was not always the type to behave so rashly, but recently he's been unstable. Even his friends too. Eumiella asks what happened to them, to which Ronald reveals that all three of them had been exceptionally brilliant since childhood, but someone showed up in their way and shattered their pride. He informs her that due to the rumor that spread after the prince's revelation, the king still believes that Eumiella is not the demon lord and tells her to be relaxed. Just then, she asks Ronald how much information does the royal family have about the demon lord, but Ronald quickly denies it, stating that he doesn't know himself. He then asks Eumiella if he has a favor to ask and reveals that when their field lessons begin in the near future, he wants her to be on the administrative side. When asked about the field lessons, he informs her that a field lesson is basically a leveling up test where they send students to hunt monsters. Since she is level 99, she can destroy the army of monsters in an instant, which means she will ruin the training of the students, which means they will not to level up. However, Ronald informs her that for nobles, field lessons are divided between central nobles and regional nobles, and she will be in charge of regional nobles. He reveals that regional nobles fight monsters in their domains more often than city-dwelling central nobles, and this inevitably creates a clear difference in their motivation to level up. Hearing this, she wonders if Prince Edwin and his friends will attend the field lesson with central nobles. But Ronald informs her that he has arranged a special training program for them, and their goal is to get them to level 40 by the time they graduate. Eumiella wants them to reach level 60, but Arnold believes it's not possible. At the field lesson, she sees kids of the regional nobles and wonders how she can be helpful to them since they look too inefficient. Just then, the boy who saw her playing with the kitty arrives and introduces himself as Patrick Ashbottom. He informs her about their strategy, revealing that the vanguard will hold the monsters in place and the rearguard will attack them. But she then asks how will the guy holding the monster level up, to which he informed her that they will reverse it and will use rearguard's magic to stop the monster's movements and then finish them with vanguard attacks. Hearing this, she tells him that she wants to use this method right now and calls out the monsters with a monster calling flute. Just then, the monsters arrive and attack them, but they were able to kill them in a short amount of time. However, they feel exhausted and terrified. which causes Patrick to ask Eumiella why she summoned the monsters without warning them. To which Eumiella reveals that she knows some of them got exhausted from using their magic, but she will hold the monsters in place next time. Just then, she summons the monsters again with a monster calling flute, causing panic among all the students who believe they are going to die. However, Eumiella binds them with her dark bind spell and asks the Vanguard team to kill them since they weren't able to kill monsters earlier. Shocked at this, the students wonder what they should do, but Eumiella assures them that her magic is powerful, and they won't get attacked by the restrained monsters. Hearing this, Patrick steps forward and kills one of the monsters, ensuring everyone that Eumiella is not lying. Just then, a monster not restrained by her bind magic arrives and tries to attack Eumiella. But Patrick gets in her way and gets bitten by the monster, who was instantly killed by Eumiella afterward. She then activates her magic and reveals after healing his wound that dark magic also has healing and recovery spells, but they are super gross. She then asks why he tried to save her, to which Patrick reveals that she was in danger and he had to step in her way to protect her. This causes Eumiella to wonder who can hurt her at level 99, but thanks him after thinking that maybe he was worried about her and feels embarrassed at it. After that, Patrick asks her to inform them before using the monster calling flute, to which Eumiella instantly used it, causing the other students to go into shock. Eumiella tells us that the Overseer warned her about using the summoning flute for monsters. Then, we see the Overseer saying he didn't know dark magic could heal. Eumiella suggests using dark magic to regenerate an arm, sharing her own story of losing an arm as a child. Thinking to herself, Eumiella reflects on how dangerous that incident was and how a slight mistake could have cost her life instead of just her arm. She wonders why there isn't magic to regrow a lost head. Then, Jomla asks the Overseer about the noble's lesson. The Overseer says Prince Edwin and his friends did well, with William leading the attack and Oswald handling any escaped monsters. The problem is they're gaining levels by killing monsters personally, making it hard for other students to level up. Jomla asks about Alicia, and the Overseer says she hasn't killed any monsters like the others. Eumiella wonders if Alicia wants to do more, but the Overseer doesn't think so. In the reports, he thinks Edwin, William, and Oswald are trying to impress a girl they like. Since Alicia can use light magic, the Overseer suggests she needs to get stronger, hinting that Eumiella might be able to help. Excitedly, Eumiella offers her assistance, and the Overseer tells her about a dark den called Deepness. Alyssa might have an advantage there, so he suggests Eumiella take her there. The Overseer then mentions another matter. They received a request from the castle's magical tools development team to test Eumiella's endurance. Eumiella agrees, and the Overseer hands her a piece of metal that passed a durability test by Captain O. But he wants to know how well she can withstand stronger opponents. Then he hears a sound and sees Eumiella bending the metal. The Overseer asks how much strength it takes to bend that metal. Eumiella gives him the metal and advises him to be careful to notice it next time. Eumiella then reassures herself that this could be good training to control the force she uses. The scene shifts to the Overseer trying to bend the metal, but he fails. Then it transitions to Eumiella walking in the academy and meeting her friend Patrick. Eumiella tells him he called her for that reason and scolded her for using the monster summoning flute. Next, we see Patrick calling out to his friend as they head to class where everyone wants Patrick to lead the next field lesson. Patrick bids farewell to Eumiella and goes to the classroom. Eumiella realizes that everyone trusts Patrick a lot. Next, the scene moves to the field training ground. Eumiella tells us that her secluded life has changed a bit since the field lesson ended. Patrick occasionally comes to talk to her. The teacher informs the students that they will have some practical lessons and instructs them to form pairs. Eumiella stands alone, and Patrick approaches her suggesting they form a pair if she doesn't have one. Eumiella asks him if he's confident about it, as he must have many friends who want to partner with him. Patrick reassures her not to worry as he owes her a partnership. Eumiella asks him, "Do you mean because I treated you?" But she tells him not to worry about it, as he can use antibiotics to treat himself even if she's not there. Patrick smiles and says to her, "You also hurt me." Her face changes, causing her a lot of embarrassment. Then they start playing with each other and Eumiella talks to herself, realizing that Patrick, the person she considers her closest friend since coming to this place, may have natural virtues that make everyone obey his orders. He is a leader, and for some reason, his voice seems to reach everywhere, possibly because he studied voice commentary, making his voice soothing to the hearts back to reality. A training with wooden swords begins, and Eumiella boasts that no one can match her in physical strength and quick reflexes. While Patrick jumps high to strike Eumiella, she delivers a powerful blow, sending him flying. The boys are surprised and worried about Patrick. Eumiella quickly runs to check on him, discovering that he has been injured in his left arm. She apologizes profusely, not intending to harm him. She quickly uses her medical skills to treat him, apologizing for the unintentional injury. However, Patrick decides to leave and tells her that he should be the one apologizing as he may not be a worthy partner for her and her incredible strength. Eumiella insists that he can learn a lot from his sword skills, and Patrick is amazed, asking her why she even thinks about fighting. Eumiella reflects, putting her fingers on her chin, and says to him that the Demon King is what drives them to that. Patrick is surprised because he heard rumors that he would return after 2 years, meaning that those rumors were true. He asks Eumiella if she has heard anything about him from the king, and she replies that she hasn't heard anything. However, she speaks to herself, admitting that she lied to him as the king shared a lot with her about the Demon King, but it was kept secret between them. Then she tells Patrick that she heard that Prince Edwin is spreading nasty rumors, or that the king is hiding something. It's a complicated situation. Eumiella talks to herself again, realizing that there have been many vile rumors about Prince Edwin lately, to the point that even if she denies the claims of the Demon King's return, it would be hard to prove her claim false. She reflects on Edwin's diminishing popularity due to his flirtatious behavior and rumors about her being the Demon Queen. She turns to Patrick and asks him if he thinks she's the Demon Queen. At times, Patrick responds cleverly, telling her that if she were the Demon Queen, she would have destroyed the world already. He appreciates her kindness and high morals, but mentions that it bothers him that people believe those rumors because of her black hair. Eumiella confesses that when she was young, her hair was almost black and it bothered her. However, she later found out that Patrick's hair is white, not black, and she takes pride in her hair and eye color. Patrick admires her strength and assures her that he will never dislike her because of her hair color. She thanks him greatly for his kind words and looks at his silver hair, telling him that the color is beautiful. Eumiella suggests that if he wants to lighten it to yellow, he can use a bit of hydrogen peroxide solution on it. Patrick smiles at her advice and thanks her. They decide to engage in another duel, and when Patrick strikes her with the sword, she retaliates with a strong blow, sending him flying. The boys are shocked again, and Eumiella quickly runs to apologize to him. After treating his injuries, Patrick reassures her that he's fine, and they both stand together. Patrick compliments her, stating that she's amazing and uses her abilities with great confidence. He praises her strength and greatness, considering her a pride for the academy. In the evening under the bright moonlight, Eumiella reflects on her friendship with Patrick, remembering his caring words. She contemplates the adventures and wars that await them in this world full of new friends. Just a few days later, Bodit participates in their second field lesson with Eumiella and Patrick in a distant area. Patrick expresses confidence that she already knows this, but he warns her against using the flute's power to summon monsters again. Eumiella assures him that she won't, as the overseer scolded her for that too. He also advises her not to burn the forest out of boredom, and she responds that today she is like a battlefield weed, learning a lesson that isn't a real war. As all the students gather around a lake, the teacher informs them that they will face different types of monsters this time. Eumiella sits aside feeling extremely bored and summons a friendly monster to play with to pass the time. She observes the students achieving good results, but the atmosphere seems much more relaxed than the previous encounter with monsters. The danger is less apparent in these conditions. Then Eumiella notices a student who has a minor injury, and she quickly rushes to treat him. The teacher reassures her that it's a very minor wound and there's no need for her intervention. Eumiella, expressing her extreme boredom, insists that she has nothing else to do and offers either a potion or magical healing. The students opt for a potion, and she quickly uses her magical abilities to heal the student, astonishing him. Grateful, the students thank her, and the teacher grants them a short break. Eumiella reflects to herself that the relaxation apparent in everyone is a real problem. She believes that when someone here tries to improve, they need to be on the edge of danger constantly. She attempts to use the power of the flute, but Patrick quickly intervenes, reminding her that he warned her about it before and that it's too dangerous. Eumiella argues that the current situation is more perilous as she thinks all these students are skilled enough to handle it. She suggests increasing the difficulty of the lesson to match their abilities. Patrick agrees with her, and Eumiella continues proposing that each student should face a Damaz creature that suits their level. Patrick becomes worried because facing a Damaz alone is considered madness. Eumiella asks him if he denies his past entirely, but he clarifies that he didn't mean that. Eumiella insists that the current approach is ineffective, making them kill low-level monsters in a time-wasting exercise. She argues that they should face slightly higher-level monsters, and even Patrick agrees that the lesson is not sufficient, noting that she hasn't used the flute yet, and that everyone should take things more seriously. She asks Patrick to use his magic on everyone, and after treating them, Patrick is surprised by Eumiella's words. She assures him that their knowledge of the pain caused by injuries should increase their focus. Eumiella confidently claims that she can cause them pain without killing them. She then addresses the students, giving them a choice between the flute and injury. The students unanimously choose the flute. Patrick hands Eumiella the flute, and he quickly goes to the students, urging them to form up and prepare for engagement. A multitude of fish emerge from the water, and Eumiella instructs them to maintain formation and stay calm. Eumiella admits to herself that she tends to get too excited when it comes to raising the difficulty level. She reflects on the potential impact on her noble family standing if Patrick were to become angry with her. Patrick speaks to the students, emphasizing the importance of maintaining formation and assuring them they can win. Eumiella wonders if Patrick could use wind magic to transmit his voice. And then the scene shifts back to Patrick instructing the students to attack with magic while using earth magic to keep their footing steady. Eumiella contemplates Patrick's strategic brilliance in group combat. Finally, they manage to defeat the challenges, and the situation starts to calm down. The scene transitions to the academy where Eumiella returns without speaking to Patrick, even if he might hate her. She decides to treat it as a return to the way things were at the beginning of the school year. Alicia approaches Eumiella and apologizes for assuming she was the demon queen, admitting that she caused her trouble by jumping to conclusion. Eumiella understands that Alicia is frightened just by standing in front of her now. But despite that, Alicia comes to apologize. Eumiella thinks that Alicia is a genuinely kind girl, and notices Prince Edwin approaching, ordering Alicia to step aside and confronts Eumiella, mentioning that he heard about what she did in the field lesson, summoning monsters to force students into fighting a swarm of creatures. Edwin questions whether Eumiella was trying to kill someone, manipulating the situation to appear as an accident, or she planned to hurt the students only to heal them afterward, gaining popularity. The miller realizes that Edwin might have heard an exaggerated version of the story. Still, he warns her that he will continue to monitor her in the academy, and if the students are put at risk again, she will be expelled. Eumiella wonders if it's worth enduring all this just to stay in the academy. Suddenly, Patrick, Eumiella's friend, intervenes and asks Edwin to wait. Patrick explains that Eumiella did use the flute to summon monster, but it was to make the students take the lesson more seriously. He assures Edwin that Eumiella's methods, while unpopular among regional nobles, are the most effective in raising the students' levels without violating school or kingdom laws. Edwin reluctantly backs off, and Patrick tells Eumiella that Edwin's words must have been tough for her. Eumiella thanks Patrick sincerely and asks if he's confident that it was wise to say that to Prince Edwin. He informs her that being the second prince of the Margrave Crehia does not mean anything to him. Then Eumiella notices that Patrick seems angry, and he tells her that he is not angry but rather feels extremely frustrated that perhaps he lacks awareness of his royal status. Eumiella acknowledges that she might have gotten a bit carried away and exceeded the limits of politeness during their lesson. Patrick is surprised by her words and tells her that he has no problem with her speaking however she finds comfortable. Eumiella thinks to herself that the hierarchical order should be of utmost importance in noble society. Patrick emphasizes that he doesn't care about formalities as there are many other important matters to worry about. He questions why she has been somewhat upset since the field lesson, expressing his concern for her. Eumiella reassures him that she went through a period of depression, but is fine now. Patrick is delighted to hear this news, smiles, and laughs. He suggests they should return to the classroom as he leaves. Eumiella calls out to him. Eumiella thanks Patrick again for his help, this time with a cute smile. Patrick notices her smile and mentions that it's rare to see her smiling. Surprised by this, Eumiella wonders if she was smiling and expresses her desire to be friends with Patrick.